everybody. Hi. Hey, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. Thank you so much for joining me on the Sewing Machines Plus's Takeover Tuesday. I want to thank Joanne Banco from Let's Go Sew. This is her normal slot. So if you are expecting her, I'm so sorry you're stuck with me. But I have somewhere to be during my regularly scheduled time slot. And Joanne was so sweet to swap with me. So I want to give a great big thank you to her. Awesome. Good. I love to see all of my folks from PTWT, Power Tools with Thread Nation here. Great to see you guys. Just saw y'all this morning. If you're brand new, I have a YouTube channel called Power Tools with Thread. And I am on live. I'm a live streamer every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Central, which is a little early for you West Coast folks, but always you can catch it on replay. We have a great time in there. You never know what you're going to do because it's a stitching retreat. So for instance, today we made binding and it was binding for beginners. So lots of instruction there too. It is so good to see. Oh, well, hello again, Shannon. Yeah, I like seeing everybody here. Awesome. So in the last couple of videos that I have done on the Takeover Tuesdays, I've kind of gone through the basics of working with the King Quilter 2 Elite, the long arm, and Pro-Stitcher and all of that. Well, not going to do the same thing today. Today, I want to talk about how to do the drag and drop to advance your designs. So before we do that, I had a lady write to me, since we're talking about long arming. She wrote to me and she said, I'm having the worst trouble. I'm getting trouble with my stitches and I'm cleaning everything and I've changed the needle and she just couldn't make it work. And so I reached out to the one who knows all, Quilting with Harriet. She's a former Pro-Stitcher handy quilter educator. And I said, what on earth could be the problem with her? And she said, have her check. What happened to my thing? I just had it right here. Of course it's gone. She said, have her check to make sure that it must have fallen off, darn it, that her bobbin is not too full. And I said, I'd never heard of that before. So I emailed her back and told her, check and see if your bobbin is too full. So she pulled a bunch of thread off the bobbin and voila, she got it fixed. That was exactly, I heard something fall earlier, y'all, and that's probably exactly what it was. I had a little scrap of material and an overfull bobbin on there. So anyway, that's your little tip for today. If you are a long armor and maybe you're a brand new long armor and you might be having some trouble, take a look and see if perhaps your bobbin is over full. That has to spin very freely in there. All righty. Well, hello. It's great seeing all of y'all. I've got lots of hello Beckys. What's 524.5? Janet, is your cat walking on your keyboard? That happens, right? So, all righty. Last time I was on here, I had showed y'all this very cool little low-tech tool that I use. I want to show you. It was a bungee cord. It's just a long bungee cord, and it had some toggles on it. And I've got a toggle right here on this side and a toggle right here in the middle and another toggle over here on this end. And the whole point of that is to make sure that your top stays even all the way up as you are advancing the quilt. So anyway, hello, Mary Lou. How are you? You love the tips, Sassy. Well, thank you. I'm just full of stuff. All right, so we are here with the King Quilter 2 Elite. I love this machine. I have had this machine now for over a year, and I am just loving it. Let me pull this back. So I've already gotten this particular pattern started, and as you can see on this quilt, this is a jelly roll quilt, believe it or not. So the little strips that are making up these pinwheels and the sides are all 2.5-inch strips. And This is the first time ever that I have quilted a quilt that I didn't make. Very first time. And so I'm doing this for a friend of mine. And so I was not in control of the amount of backing. And as long armors, we always say we like to have 4 to 6 inches on each side of backing so that, oh, you got the cord and the magnets. Well, good, Paula. That's excellent. Good, good, good. So I've got this, and I got it. And you guys, I've only got about 2.5 maybe inches extra of backing around the outside. So I want to show you today another little trick to overcome that obstacle. And this is a very cool little setup here. Again, low tech. I love low tech. So I had a couple of quilt blocks that I used 4 quilt blocks. Let me show you these. This is so cool. And what I did was I created little flat extenders. So if you go to, as your machine comes back, it'll hit the bottom of these and see how it's kind of curved there. It's okay, but it'll clunk and whatnot. And we'd rather it be flat. So someone told me, one of my great viewers told me, so that might be tight. I'll undo it. Yeah, I'll loosen it up a little bit. So I took quilt blocks. There's 2 of them. Okay. Put batting between them, stippled them. And then I just trimmed them with a pinking shear along the end, and I cut it in half. And I have 1/2 on this end and the other half on the other end. And these are mitten clips. And look how nice and flat those are on the bottom. So if you ever end up with a quilt that has got a shy backing, try something like that and see if that doesn't help a little bit. And that way the machine will just, scooch right over those. No problem. No big clunking, none of that stuff. Let me show you how to do these. That is what you use, Kim? Good. Awesome. So to change these are very simple on this. This is the Studio 2 frame. They don't make this one anymore, but you can get this machine with a Studio 3 frame. So we'll just clip that right on there and just make it, it's pretty loose. Okay. And we'll loosen this one up a little bit too. There we go. You didn't know they still made mitten clips? Well, Cindy, I would have never thought about that because I live in South Texas. We don't know what those are down here. We don't have them. So, but Amazon comes to the rescue again. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the King Quilter 2 Elite. This machine is fantastic. The Elite one, so they have a King Quilter 2, and then they have the King Quilter 2 Elite. The Elite has this beautiful light, these lights right here underneath the where the handlebars are, which I just love. And then we've got the 18-inch throat, and it comes with the light strip to brighten it up in there too. This machine comes with so many bells and whistles that you would normally pay extra for. And this machine is proprietary to Sewing Machines Plus. So if you are a beginner long armor or you're a wannabe long armor, I highly recommend you get one of these. Now on the King Quilter 2 Elite, you've got this great big 7-inch screen right here. If you just get the regular King Quilter 2, what's going on here? What's the hang up? Oh, there we go. My mitten clips were in the way. So let me see. This is the problem when you don't have big backing, but we'll go right here. So we got a nice big screen. I can bring you guys over here so you can see this. Okay. They got big ones for sheets. Awesome. Very good. So on this screen, we have precision mode, which that's the P. I've got a cord problem here, you guys. I don't want to get you drug over here and lose what we're looking at. Let me see. Okay. There we go. You can kind of see that. And maybe I can bring this a little closer to you. There we go. There. Now we got it. Okay. So On this particular screen, this is the home screen for the King Quilter 2 Elite. You don't have to have automation on here, but if you want it, it takes the Butler and it takes the Pro-Stitcher. Okay, so whichever software you feel comfortable with and works with you, then you can choose whichever one you want. On here, we have the stitches per inch. I like a 12. There's a speed, 8%. So you can do P is precision, which is great for when you are doing ruler work. Manual is, the faster you move, the smaller the stitches, the slower you move, the longer the stitches. I have no use for that button. I've never used it. That's just me. B is for based, and then I is for idle cruise mode. And what that does is it allows the needle to take a little stitch in place as it's going to go into a point, and it gives you beautiful curves and back stitches and whatnot. So, and then up here, we are in the middle of making some swirls, and I am getting ready to do the next row. So I've got to tell it to come on. I'm just going to come on over here. Let me move this out of the way. See what I'm dealing with down here. I'm going to get this up out of the way. But I had started because, as I said when I started the video, the last several times I've done this, we've gone through just getting it started and not necessarily going and doing the advancing. So I had a Butler, Pamela, and I loved it. I have videos on how to use the Butler automation. I had that on my original King Quilter Special Edition way back in the beginning of my long arming days. The Butler is a wonderful system. And if you get an opportunity, look for any of the videos on Sewing Machines Plus's YouTube channel where Aubrey is there, especially like during the Quilt Fest, and she will give you demos. She's such a great instructor. So yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I'm getting ready to start the next row. I really don't need this here right now because I'm getting ready to just do some stitching. But one thing that I do need to do, after the last video I did with you guys, I had shown how I'm not using the batting rail. Okay, I like to float my tops. Now, to float or not to float, 'tis the question, yeah? So let me get my magnets. And these magnets are great. Okay. Now these are from, again, a little home hack. These are from Northern Tool, all right? These are very popular with long armors, extremely strong. They're designed to hold screwdrivers and pliers and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to put, but before I do that, I want to show you why I prefer floating, okay? It just, to me, it's complete personal preference. So I know there are some diehards that don't like to float. So you do you, boo. That's how we roll here at Power Tools with Thread, okay? So the reason I like to float is because when I advance the quilt, I can get this up now, all right? I can make sure there are no bubbles or bumps or ripples in my batting. And really importantly, I want to make sure that there are no dark threads that are going to show through my white fabric on the top. That is the worst thing, to be stitching along. Has anybody ever had that happen to you when you're going along and you find out that there's a dark thread under your white? Let me know in the chat or leave a comment below. And that is so frustrating, where you got to stop. Now you got to get a little thing and get in there and try to pull it out and hope you don't pull a seam. And it's just so much drama. So I much prefer the method of lifting it up, taking a look, taking a peek, making sure everything is nice and smooth, making sure everybody's going to, Kim floats. Okay. Yeah, that's bad news. Cindy knows, not good. So when we get to that point, I will show you. But right now, I'm just going to take this magnet and put it right here. Okay. And I'm making sure when I started this that I had a seam that was right on the edge. Okay. That looks great. Still nice and floppy. Life is good. Sarah says she was told about the magnets from Harbor Freight, but didn't know what size to buy. When I got these, I couldn't find the right ones at Harbor Freight. I wanted the ones from Northern Tool. They're super strong. But to be honest, I have not messed with the ones from Harbor Freight. So I'm sure you can find some that'll work. You need something that's going to withstand the movement, okay, of this. Now, I have already basted across the top. I've already stitched the top row, and I'm getting ready to, and I've already basted down the sides, and I'm getting ready to get that second row going, okay? Let's see, we are in the right spot-ish, I think. I'm going to tell it resume. It's going to go to the next row right there and take a stitch. Okay, and resume. Let me get this going. So this way today, pause. Where's my bobbin thread? It didn't come up. Okay, well, let's get that fixed. Okay, I've got to go back. I'm going to tell it cancel. Okay, I got to figure out. So you want to tell it cancel so that it'll release the motor locks. Okay, for some reason, it started with the bobbin thread and then it didn't. Let me pull it down and up. Nope, no bobbin. What's going on? What happened? So here we go. Interesting. Okay, doke. Let's put it back in there. All right, bobbin tension test. How do you know you have good bobbin tension? Put it in your hand. Your bobbin should stand up, but stay on your hand as you pull. If it pulls up off your hand, your tension is too tight. You want to take that little screw right there, lefty-loosey. Okay. If it flies up off your hand, if it doesn't stand up, it's too loose. And you want to turn that little screw righty-tighty until it doesn't. Again, I love all of the little low-tech things. Okay, so let's try this now. Let's see here. I got a loop I need to cut so that I can have a, okay. I'm going to put this just over another stitch, thereabouts. Doesn't matter because I'm in the batting. All right. So when that happens, let's show you what to do. I have got a cord issue here, y'all. I've got something going on. Hold on. I don't like it that I can't pull you with me. Okay. Now we're good. All right. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go to zoom, and I'm going to zoom in big time. I want to see, okay, let's zoom a little more. There, now I can see where I'm at. We'll start right about there. Doesn't matter, right about there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Pro-Stitcher. I'm going to tell it new start end. Okay. And then I'm going to touch auto 2 times. When it says you're on stitch 206. And again, okay. And that's it. And now I'm going to go to quilt. Okay. There it is. And it's ready to go. That's how we do that. See how easy it is? If you get a thread break or something goes wonky, whatever. Well, I'm going to hit run. And I want to go back to normal, I think, so I can see it. There. And proceed. Okay. It's starting right there. And resume. I might Let's see, my acceleration's at 30 and my speed's at 50. There we go. Ta-da. Very easy. Okay. So why did I choose these little swirls? Now these little swirls are inside of Pro-Stitcher. When you buy them, there are hundreds of designs in Pro-Stitcher. So because the quilt is very angular, you can see. Let me zoom you in here a little bit. We've got lots of vertical stripes here, okay? Big triangle, horizontal stripes here. Everything is very angular, so I wanted to give the quilt some movement, and it's getting swirls. Ta-da! Yep, pretty cool. I wanted to find that bobbin to give you guys a sample of the overfull bobbin. I moved it. So this morning we made binding for the quilt that I finished last. Typo Queen. The quilt I finished last time with y'all was Farmstead by Stacy E. Shu. This is the Brightly Sampler companion quilt that I made on my channel. And it just turned out beautiful. It's upside down to y'all, but I'm really pleased with it. Hi, Jeanette. Thanks for joining us. Oh, here we go. Found my bobbin. So if you look at this bobbin here, and you get a bobbin winder with your King Quilter 2 Elite. So if you look at this bobbin, it looks fine, but y'all, it's overfull. The little hump in the middle will cause drag on the bobbin, and it'll cause problems. Whereas here's one that's filled properly. Can you see the difference? I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can see the difference pretty well right there. All right. So this bobbin is overfull and this one is properly filled. So you want to really, if you get a lot of bad stitches and you're not sure why, make sure you don't have an overfull bobbin. Real important. I did not realize that. So that's why I love our community in the Situation Room over on Power Tools with Thread every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Central. There's beginners in there, there's experts in there, and so lots of information. And it's just a wonderful group of people to hang out with and really enjoy fellowship and fun. So yeah, thank you so much for your compliments on the quilt. I love it. I need to get it bound, and that's what we did this morning, was make binding on it. I wanted to show you guys, I did a video last, it was a couple weeks ago maybe, on my channel. So I've got this directional backing. Take a look at this. And I did a video on pattern matching for quilt backs. Did I fill that bobbin so I could show you? Sarah. Actually, I overfilled it, and that reminded me that what Harriet had told me. So this backing, I would not choose this as a backing usually, but it's such a cute pattern. And so I had to get the backing, and it's a vertical run. Okay. I want to show you. We did a thing on pattern matching on the channel. Let me see if you guys can see where that pattern match happened. Where are y'all? Let me see. There's my hand. Can you guys see the pattern match? Yeah. I love the backing. It is absolutely adorable. Okay. So you guys stare at that. Here is the pattern match right here. Right there. There's a line right there. So I There's all kinds of stuff you will see on the Power Tools with Thread YouTube channel. Yep. But you can't tell. I mean, it's hard to tell on that. Very hard to tell. We're done. So when you finish with a row, you can let the machine drive itself back to the next starting point, but that takes a little bit. So I'm just going to come over here, show you how easy this is, you guys. I'm just going to come over here and bring it back over here. You can't see it. I know that fabric is adorable. Absolutely adorable. And up here on the screen, I'm just going to hit the resume button one more time. Let's see. I'm doing a 5-inch on this pattern. See, it just moved to right where it needed to go. I don't have to tell it. It knows where it needs to be. Okay. We're going to be here a while. There's 32 repeats. Yeah, thank you. So on the farmstead quilt, I'm going to put the binding on it probably tomorrow. We'll do that on the channel tomorrow morning. Maybe, I don't know. I usually put the binding on while it's on the long arm. I've got a ruler for that. It's so cool. So if I'd have to finish this, no, binding won't be tomorrow. Now that I think about all the process steps involved. So I learned to pattern match on my husband's shirts when I used to do garment sewing. And you can tell a good men's shirt when the placket across the back of the shoulders matches exactly the bottom of the shirt on the bodice pieces. And that's really neat. Or also a men's pocket, it should disappear into it. So as a former garment seamstress, I eyeball stuff like that, you know, whenever you're looking at, you know, when you're like, you go and you see the Tommy Bahama shirts or anything that the Tabasco shirts, all of those, you know, those fun novelty fabrics. I always I'm looking at it going, did you get that right? And y'all, I use Steam a Seam to pattern match. Let me get you in and show you the beautiful stitching that is going on here with the King Quilter 2 Elite. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Very pretty. Very pretty. Now this foot right here, the bowl foot, that comes with the machine, which is fabulous. You get the, again, these are things you would normally pay extra for. You get the glide foot too. Okay, that's the foot that's on there. If you wanted to buy this foot, it's about $100. It's 90 something, and then plus tax, right, or shipping. Yeah. So that's, I priced it when I was at Rhodes, California. The Sure foot. This is the ruler foot that's a little bit taller. So the machine comes with the Sure foot and it comes with a ruler base. You don't have to buy those extra. It's awesome. This machine, so on my domestics and my embroidery machine, I love Brother machines. Why? I feel like they're the best bang for the buck. Okay. And I'm all about the best bang for the buck, which is why I love the King Quilter 2, because this machine, by far, even if you don't put automation on it, is the best bang for the buck in the industry. I really believe that. Let's see what else comes with this. You get a Pro-Stitcher designer. Okay, so you can play with designs on your computer before actually going and doing them on the laptop. Did I decide how big to make my swirls, or was it predetermined? Cindy, the predetermined size was 4 inches. And so I locked horizontal and vertical in order to constrain proportions, and I made them 5. I thought 4 was a little bit small. I probably could have gone a little bigger. I don't know. This is such a big pattern on the quilt itself. I went with a little bit smaller design. I kind of go opposite. That's how I figure out what I'm going to do on a quilt. If it's not like themed, you know. So since there's so much geometric straight lines and angles, then I chose swirls to get it quilted. You wish you had the space for a machine like this. Mama, you can get the King Quilter 2, not the Elite, but the 2, I believe. They also make a 16 that will fit on an 8-foot frame. So you don't have to have loads of space. And if it were me and I didn't have this room, I would take over my dining room because nobody eats at that table anyway, right? Nobody does. It's just me and my husband. He'd learn to live with it so long as it's not running while he's watching TV. You know how that is, right? Yep. Okay. Time to do another row. I am really looking forward to the time. I see professionals, you know, do all of this and they just quickly, they've got their hands in this mechanical motion, learn motion. I'm not there yet on that because Quilting with Harriet taught me about being able to pull the thread. So you pull it and then you grab it with this finger and pull it back and take your scissors and do all that. And there's this dance that happens, the long arm dance. All right, let's go to the next one. And I'm going to hit resume. All right, making sure I'm not going to hit that clip. We don't want that. That's not good. Not good at all. And resume. The swirl is a great pattern because I can do so many passes before I have to advance. So, Mom says, I'd have to move everything upstairs. I'm already bumping into everything. This is great. Isn't this fun? Look at how good my quilting is. Oh, my goodness. Very pretty. So precise. So we're getting a new pool in the backyard, and the guys are outside on a ginormous. It's not an excavator. It's a backhoe, giant backhoe from Caterpillar. And they were on break, and I said, "You guys want to see something cool?" And I brought them in here and showed them this machine, and they were like, "Oh my gosh! I remember my grandmother had that thing that came down from the ceiling." I said, "Yeah, we don't do that. I'm power tools with thread, not hand stitching." Very nice. Very nice. I've got another one quilt just like this to do a second one. So I might choose a different pattern. I might, what do they call stagger the nest. I might do that. So, oh yeah, way easier than doing it with the embroidery union. Yeah. If you are embroidering your quilts and you even think, you guys, I'm telling you, they've got such great financing deals now on these. And the price is so reasonable, right? So reasonable. Considering some that you can get, you know, I know that the price, a lot of them are the price of like a new car. It's crazy. You're like, oh, again, best bang for the buck is the King Quilter 2 Elite. I love it. It's stitching out beautiful. I make it look easy, Barbara Ann, because it is easy. Now on the top, I have a light gray that matches kind of the grays that are in these stripes here. The back is a little bit lighter than this gray right here. And let me see. I can see the thread. No. Oh, so a tip too, another little tip if you're new to long arming. I've seen all kinds of things that tell you to check your stitches on the back, okay? You can look at them with a mirror. You can do all of that. But I've tried it all. And believe it or not, the very best way to tell if your tension is right. Will Embrilliance be able to save in quilting formats in the future? Sandra, I think it already does. I think it already does. I do use the HQF format. I have it to save in there. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's on Thumbnailer that I can see the HQFs. Yeah. Is this the normal speed, Kathy? No. I slowed it down. This thing will whiz. Go. Yeah. It's like a rocket. I slowed it down. Just makes me happy. You know how on your domestic machine where you listen to it, right? You know when it's happy, you know when something's wrong. And it's like my dad told me when I was first learned how to drive. He said, listen to your car. It'll always tell you if it needs attention. And you listen to your machines. Anytime, any machine, listen to it. Your fridge, your washer, you know. My ear is attuned to this speed. And it's great because I can hear if something's wrong. I can hear when it runs out of bobbin. So sometimes if it's going super fast, you can't hear that. To me, that's just me. But anyway, so I was talking about being able to know your tension is right. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Bring it down with your right hand, pull it forward, pick it up with your finger, pull it back, down, up, pull it forward, and snip. That's the dance. I've got to get down to where that's second nature. That's my goal. Okay, I'm getting close here. So I'm getting close to where I might need to advance the quilt, okay? So I'll get back to that tension issue after I do this. I might need to advance the quilt. So I'm going to zoom a little bit here. And what I want to do, let's go over here and take a look. Brenda says, I need to work on that. Yeah, I know we all do, right? Okay. So I'm getting ready to do the next row, or fixing to if you're in the South, okay? I'm in Texas. Now, so there's the top of the next row. Look, I'm looking at the crosshair. There's the bottom of the next row. Okay, I'll get in and you guys can see. Whoop, the other way, Becky. Kind of the glare there. There it is. So it's right here, okay? Now, I want to make sure that if I pull it all the way, I can actually get 2 more passes out of this. That's great. So, okay, that works right there. Oh, let me go a little higher. Yeah. So I'm looking at this crosshair. All right. You guys, if you ever are interested in getting a long arm and you're going to get automation software, if there's not a crosshair on the screen, run. All right. Because you can't tell where the needle is unless you can see the crosshair on the screen. And I use this crosshair all the time. I want to make sure that when I'm at the top of the design, right there of my next row, that I'm going to be able to easily not bump into the carriage with the wheels. I'm not going to hit the belly bar. I'm not going to hit the take-up rail. You need that, okay? So I just... Butler gives you a crosshair as well. So that's one of those things that if you don't know, you don't know. All right. So if you have an opportunity to look at certain different software, there are some out there that don't have a crosshair. And if they don't have a crosshair, I strongly recommend that you look elsewhere for your software. Okay. That's just from me to you. It's a secret. Don't tell anybody I told you. Okay. That's just me. All right, I want to start this again and let me resume. It's going to go to the next row. Okay. And resume. All right. So back when we're getting to tension, how long is my frame and what's the widest quilt I can do? Becky, this frame is 10 feet. So you know, 10 by 12 is 120. So I could do a 104. I don't like it. I could, but I don't want to. So, oh, good. Teresa says she's practicing with her Pro-Stitcher today. Good for you. So when it comes to checking tension, yes, you can look. But if you've got little eyelashes on the back, which means that your bobbin tension is too tight, you can't see that all the time, depending on your stitch length, depending on your lighting, whatever, right? You're trying to look from underneath. And so what I do is before I start, every single brand new bobbin, I get a little scrap piece of fabric. I'm going to use a yellow one here. And I just drew myself in stitches a little hashtag. See my hashtag? All right. So my hashtag, whoop, hold on. Stay. Let me see where it's going to stay. My camera. There we go. All right. So on my first hashtag, it looks fine on top. And the first one is the middle one. Okay. It looked fine on top, but I felt underneath, y'all, it feels bumpy. If it feels bumpy underneath, then you should, that means that the bobbin thread is pulling. That means the bobbin thread is pulling that top thread down very tightly to the point that it's putting a bump on the bottom. Okay. So I went, if the bobbin thread is feeling too tight, I did a half turn on the top on the machine to give it a little more tension, because I know my bobbin tension is correct in the bobbin because I did my little pull thread, right? So I did a righty-tighty on the machine itself, and then I did my outside hashtag, and I like to use the hashtag versus a swirl. I want right and left angles. I want 90-degree angles. So now when I feel it, I cannot feel the top or the bottom thread. I can't feel it. I know the indentation is there, but I can't actually feel the thread. So that means on the back, I can't feel the thread. I can feel the indentation, but not the thread itself. So why does that matter? That means I've got a balanced stitch in the quilt sandwich. Got a balanced stitch. The reason I like to do that left and right turn on a hashtag is because I can see, I can't see on the back, but I can see on the top. Let me get in here and look at it real close. Whoop, wrong way. I can look for eyelashes. Whoop, hold on, sorry, my bad. Right there. If I see a long eyelash up here on top, then that tells me that I righty-tightied too much and I need to back it off just a little bit. It's really pretty simple to do. All right. So that's my tension lesson for the day. Once you know you have good bobbin tension by doing the pull lift, you can use a TOA gauge. I have one of those. My problem, Belinda, with the TOA gauge, my needle bounces around and I can't tell what number it's at. I can't tell. It drives me crazy. I pull and I want it to be precise and it's not. It goes, and I'm like, oh, I just know if I pull my thread, my bobbin stands up, but it doesn't come off my hand, it's correct. If it lays down flat, it's too loose. If the bobbin comes off my hand completely, it's too tight. So once I get that straight, then every other tension adjustment that I do is on the front of the machine with the little righty-tighty, lefty-loosey on that. So that's how I do that. Okay. Yeah, you guys hit the thumbs up and the like button if you would. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do an advance on the quilt. So I'm going to show you guys how I do a drag and a drop. And that's the terminology, drag and drop, that Pro-Stitcher uses in order to be able to advance the quilt to the next bunch of rows. Okay. So let me show you how to, I don't know if I can do that all the way. Oh, it's all the way down there. That's fine. Okay. Let me see if I can get you. Let me see here. I'm going to disconnect this. I think this is the one causing the problem for the limitation on moving around. Okay. So I'm going to bring you down here with me. Let's go on a ride, y'all. Put your seatbelts on. Okay, you must be this high to get on the ride. Let me see if I can get you in here. Let's see. I think I can. Pretty close. All right, we're down here at this end. So now, again, I'm going to pull the thread with my, let's see, right hand. Move it backwards. Grab it with my pinky. Pull it forward. Pull up my bobbin thread and trim. Okay, I'm going to work on that. I've got lots and lots of repeats on this quilt, so I can do that. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to advance the quilt. So what I'm going to do is, again, you want to be able to see the next row in the quilt. Let me get back up here on the screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. So it stopped right there. I'm on Zoom. Okay, you can see where it stopped. Maybe you can. Let me zoom you. Okay. So you can see where it stopped on the screen. All right. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that not the bottom of the next row. We know the bottom of the next row is going to fit. You want to make sure the top of the next row, right here, okay, the top of that row, that here's where you can run into a problem that they don't talk about a whole lot. Back here on the back of the machine, I don't know if you can see over the edge of the quilt or not. Back here on the back, there is that track that the wheel goes forward and backwards on. You don't want that to get hit, okay? So on the screen, I'm at the top of the next row. I know for a fact that this will do one more row, but I'm just showing you guys because I don't want to run out of time. Okay. So here we go. We're at the top of the next row. I'm going to put my needle down using the blue button on the top. On the handlebars, the blue button is needle up, down. This is go slower. I never use that. This is go faster. I never use that. And then we have stop and go. So I'm going to needle down. All right. So I have put the needle down in the quilt. Now I'm going to tap on the screen. Okay. I'm going to tap drag. And you can see that it highlighted. All right. Now I'm going to release the quilt and get everything so that I can move it. One-man production company here, you guys. Okay. So let me pull this. Get this. And take these off. Twist them to the side like that. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, so remember I talked about that wheel at the back, the wheel that goes forward and backwards. I know you can't see it. I wish maybe next time I'll do my camera, a second camera where you can see. Maybe you can see that. Hold on a minute. Maybe I can get that working. We have technology here that might work. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Y'all bear with me, please, just for a couple seconds. Okay. There. Now, I want y'all to pay attention. Oh, this is cool. You're looking at the back of the machine. Okay. Am I so tights all over that? All right. So the idea now is I am going to advance the quilt using the roller, the handles on the take-up rail, and look at that carriage going backwards. Okay. Hold on a second. It's giving me resistance here on the front. Don't need that. You want to make sure that that back wheel, that this wheel right here, whoop, this one. Is it this one or this one? No, where's the wheel? Here's the wheel. You want to make sure that that's not going to smack into this. Is this the wheel? Yeah, here's the wheel. This is it right here. You want to make sure that that's not going to smack into the back of this. And so that's why you have to be at the top of the pattern. If I put my needle at the bottom of the pattern, it is entirely possible that as the pattern goes around and gets to the top, it would hit this and cause drama. And we don't like drama when we sew. So I always make sure that I change out that when I drag and drop, I put my needle at the top of the pattern. Okay. You like that lighting? All righty. So now all I'm going to do, let me get you back over here and zoom you in, because we still have, now drop is highlighted, so I'm just going to tell it drop. And go, and there, and it went away. So now it is going to advance the pattern, and you can see that when I hit the home button. Okay, and that worked. Pretty sure it worked. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of that little box right there, and I'm going to bring my needle up. Okay, and how you can tell that it worked, let me show you how you can tell that it worked, is everything that I've already stitched. Can you see the pink area box? Let me move this. See the pink area box? Okay, everything that I've already stitched is outside of the pink area box. So the computer knows that I advanced the quilt, and it won't stitch those again. Ta-da! Very handy. And you can see it moving up down here. So it knows that it's done that. Okay, cool. That's good. So I'm just going to move the quilt over here now, and then I'm going to go through the process of making sure that the quilt is lined up properly and I don't have any kind of threads that I don't want or anything like that. So you'd forget to raise your needle. The machine is really good about raising the needle and making sure it gives you little warnings about that kind of thing. Okay, so now I'm going to go through this process. First thing I want to do is to get out my handy dandy little old school. This is low tech, y'all, love it. And what it is I have a coffee cup hook magnet right here with a hook. Okay, and I put the magnet on this outside and line it up with the edge of that piece of metal on the frame, and I have its partner over here on the other side lined up with the edge of the metal on the frame, so I know that this is right. Okay, and I have my little toggles in here. Where are we at on time? We got 5 minutes. All right. And I'm just going to make sure now that this center toggle is in the center of the quilt. This toggle is on the right seam. Well, actually, before I do that, I need to open this up and flip it up and take a look just to be sure we don't have any kind of issues. So this is why I float. All right. This is exactly why I float. I want to make sure that this is nice and smooth. I don't have any bubbles. Let me go ahead and get the backing clipped in. And if you joined late, I made a couple of, well, it was 2 quilt blocks that I quilted and then cut in half, and I use mitten clips to attach the mitten clips to the backing. And you do this when your customer gives you a backing that is not wide enough that you would like. Okay, there we go. So I've got my little quilted mitten clip thing. It works. A lot of old school stuff here. Okay, so I have looked and made sure. Now I want to look on that white fabric, make sure I don't have any dark blue threads poking through, anything that might shoot. Okay, so I've got some right here. This is the reason I like to float. Hold on. See them? Right here. Little dark blue threads. I don't want those showing. There we go. Okay, so that's fine. I got rid of those. That's why I float. There are those, you know, that prefer not to, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. All right, now I'm going to bring it down and let it droop here. Okay, and now I'm going to make sure that it's in the right alignment so that the edge is straight. Toggle, center, side, side. And now I can baste down the sides. And I'm ready to go. Awesome. Where are we at on time? We got a minute. We got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and baste. So now I'm going to touch the B on the main screen, not the automation. And I am on a 1/2 inch baste. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. Get this. Let's see, down and up. Okay. So you guys, don't forget, this is the King Quilter 2 Elite. This one comes with the larger screen, and it has the lights that are under the handlebars. There we go. And let's see. Here's where I got to do the dance again. Right hand. Doing the dance again, right? Pull it forward, pull it with your pinky, needle down and up. Okay. All right. Good. And then over one more. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun. I am always so productive with you guys. I absolutely love it. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up and share it with your friends for lots of long arming tips. Set it in a favorite to watch again so that you can refer back to it if needed. All right. And I'm out of bobbin. Oh my gosh, I think I just won at Bobbin Chicken, y'all. Oh my gosh, let me see. Let me look. And that's why I did 4 bobbins. I need to go get a lotto ticket. Yay! Yay! Hooray! I know it got late, didn't it? We have such a good time here at Power Tools with Thread. Hope you can join me. I want to thank Blaine and Kyle, the team at Sewing Machines Plus, for having me on. Thank you, Joanne Banco, for swapping with me because I'm going to be in Indiana teaching at the end of the month. It's so good to see you guys. Be sure to check all the info below for any info you might need on the King Quilter 2 Elite. I love you guys, and we will see you later. You guys go sew something. Bye.